Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome guys to our CPIT 221 course, Technical Communication course. Today it's my pleasure to host Mr. Rayyan Samman, a former student, a former outstanding student, exceptional professional students who show outstanding skills in this course, and he performs at a high performance level. Mr. Rayyan, it's my pleasure to host you here. Thank you very much, guys, for attending and for benefiting from this valuable experience that Rayyan will share with us here. Go ahead,
Yeah, and
please.
it's my pleasure to meet here with you, Dr. Raed. When I was taking CPIT 221, it was by far the best course I've ever taken. Now, I don't think that I've ever explained my motivation for why I've actually I'm not showing my video. 1 second. Okay. There's a problem with the video. Is it working? Yeah. Okay, it's working now. So I don't think that I've ever shared my reasoning for my motivation for the course. So the reason that I've been so motivated to do my best in the course is because I've had an experience where I realized how important effective communication was. So it all started when I was beginning to program in my foundation year. So I decided in my foundation year, my goal was to be that I want to learn how to program. So uh, as with all of you, I started learning how to program through CPIT 110. And it was the first year where the course had changed from teaching Microsoft Office into teaching actual programming stuff, which is Python. Now, uh, as with everyone learning a new skill, I was incredibly bad in the beginning. Like everyone who knew me knew that I always thought that I was very bad at programming. So what I did was that I decided that I wanted to search for other people who have the same goals as me. So I decided, let me open Reddit, open similar stuff, and I joined a Discord server where I met lots of people who shared those interests. And after I did that, I realized that, and that's when my growth started appearing. Now, uh, my first aha moment. I'm gonna share my screen right now. Okay, so for my first aha moment while programming was when I realized that I could change the print command into actually printing into a text file. So after I did that, I realized I could take this and I could combine it with a while loop. Okay, and then when I did that, then it created this text file. Okay, and the thing with the text file is that it became bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I did this inside the lab. So the people beside me, they were like, what is this guy doing? So and then the text file was just became bigger and bigger and bigger. It went from kilobytes to megabytes, and then it nearly reached gigabyte, but then I decided, let me just stop it. After that, I realized that I had a real interest in this, and I decided that I wanted to learn more. So uh, to me, okay, writing code, it's like finding the pieces to this puzzle, and uh, you don't know what's after that, you know. So of course, I wanted to become better at that. So later on, we had this presentation where we needed to actually make a presentation and present to everyone. And I decided, let me make it on Python. However, my communication skills weren't that great. And uh, you probably saw this video, and I post on my website, but at the website that I made for the course. And I took 100 tries to do this video. So of course I'm not that great at what's called speaking. However, I am good at making stuff. So I decided, let me make an app in Python, and I actually made this tiny app. Okay, and I presented it to everyone inside the communication course. So to make up for that, I had some ideas and stuff, and that's how my days were going back then. So I like every week I decided, let me make some project, let me come up with some idea and then implement it. So late and of course coming up with ideas, it's not that easy. So um, like it's a continuous process. You don't just immediately come like you're not born with the ability to just come up with ideas on the spot, so you need to continuously train yourself on that. So what I did is that I started talking to people. I started making open source projects, and one of the first projects that I made was this YouTube video downloader, and I learned a lot from that experience. And of course, without being able to communicate with others, I wouldn't be able to get their experience and learn more from them, you know? So I started making more and more open source projects. This is a website that I made with some friend that I met on Discord. There was like this Discord server where lots of programmers came and went. So I started making lots of open source projects and stuff. And at that time, I heard a lot about this course called Harvard CS50. And of course, I made a video on it for my Make Me Buy. But I've heard a lot about this course. And when I actually did it, that's when I started developing those critical thinking skills that you need to program well. And of course, none of this would have been possible without actually knowing how to communicate with others. And through that, okay, that's how I started learning how to program. Now, now within CPIT221, uh, it's only 2 course hours, so why should you put in the effort? Now, most people, they think of when they're doing a course, they only think about the grades. So for me, I think about what can I learn from this course. Now, my entire philosophy for university is that I shouldn't just be trying to do it for the grades. I need to be doing it so I could learn the most to be prepared for my later years for after university and the later years of university. And through that, I decided I would give myself 3 goals. So I wanted to meet other people, of course, and I wanted to create a community inside the university, and I wanted to meet others who were also motivated. And of course, you are the average of the 5 people that you are closest with. So you need to surround yourself with other people who are also very motivated. So you yourself would be able to be motivated as well. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to surround myself with other programmers, and by chance, in the first task, we wanted Dr. Rai told us to make a tweet about ourselves, and through that I met Khalid, and through that later on, me and Khalid we decided we wanted to enter this competition, and we ended up winning 4th place. And the thing is, me and Khalid, began our teamwork. We began forming our teamwork skills through the CPIT 221's proposal. So me and Khalid, in before the deadline of the proposal, me and Khalid stayed up until 7 a.m. trying to finish our proposal. So that was pretty. So after that, I knew that Khalid would be like I knew that I could trust him. So later on, whenever I had something else like this program competition, I knew that I could trust him and I could work with him and be able to be effective in that competition. And also, I created this Twitter account because of CPIT 221. And through that, I've been able to meet the upper year students. And through that, I've met Anwar, who is extremely good. To be honest, he's my role model. He's just extremely good at programming and computer science. And we have a similar way of thinking. So, a few days before the competition, me and Anwar and Khalid, we came together on Discord and we talked together and we solved a few problems to get used to our to working with each other. And even though this competition, it's more like you could think of it as like a computer science, like related to computer science and stuff. So of course, third and fourth year computer science students, they're all going to be over there, and they're all going to be trying to compete for the first place or top three. And me and Khalid are only first year computer science students. So getting fourth place on only our first year, that's extremely amazing. And to be honest, I thought that we would get top 20, top 30, but somehow we got fourth place. So that's pretty good. And it's all because of good teamwork skills. And I'll go over that later when I talk about the proposal. So I'm sure Dr. I told you a lot about what I've done for the course. So I made this website, and the first thing that I did in the course was I made this program that scraped the text of the blogs of CPIT221. And I showed that to Dr. Raid, and he was very happy about that, thankfully. And he ended up using being inspired by my code to create the grammar checker that you have today. So also, Dr. Raid, I wanted to ask you, is my code actually being used, or have you moved
Yes, for sure, for sure. Now also Dr. Bukhari is extending it after our last communication regarding
on?
that getting a meaning from the weekly writing. He's now start thinking. I showed him that what you showed me in our last meeting regarding AI and data mining and so on and machine learning. Then he is going forward to enhance that code in order to get a meaning from students' weekly writing.
I see. Like
Uh,
the happiest thing you could be as a programmer or anyone who creates things is watching people
for
use
sure,
use
for
your
sure,
stuff.
for
So
sure.
through the course, I've done lots of things. I've created this word cloud that just got the most common words mentioned in that blog, and it was about the most common words said in after the group task of just making a YouTube video together, and it was and lots of people didn't like it. So I decided let's see what people's opinions are on that. And of course I've done lots of projects since then, and in the end of the year, we had this task to actually to show our value, and I decided let me scrape the text from the actual images, and I trained an AI on it, and that's that story. But it was pretty fun, and I've likely learned more about programming in CPIT 221 than likely all of the other courses in FCIT combined. Uh, okay. Also, I'm pretty sure that most of you are using the drive that me and my group created. Now, I've not only met Khalid, who I entered the competition with, but I've also met a bunch of other talented people like Abdurrahman Ghazi. He's extremely good at business and design and stuff, and he actually helped me design my website. He just told me come look at this PayPal color theme and try making something with it. So I did that, and it worked out beautifully. So he has he's extremely good at that stuff, and of course Khalid, and actually Salman. I met him on Discord. I have a Discord server. If you want to join, just message me later on Twitter or something. I'll send you a link. But I always talk about Salman about tech and stuff. He's actually pretty good. And of course, I sent a tweet about Ma'an a few days ago. He's really good about hardware and stuff. He made some system, and he has this app to control all the lights in his home and stuff. And yeah, so you probably use our Google Drive for that term for this term. And yeah, okay. Now about teamwork. So what is the most important thing about the proposal is choosing a good team. Now, it's not only limited to your proposal. So let me just close a bunch of stuff. So your team is not only going to serve you through the proposal, but it's also going to be through the entire university. So maybe you're going to work with some people now, but you're likely going to be working with them or with some group of friends throughout the entire university experience. So you want to carefully choose those students so you could begin to work with them. And as I said, I've started working with Khalid and I started doing projects and we studied together and stuff. And the first time that we actually got together and did something was in the proposal. And uh, while I knew some people from Tahdiri that entered FCIT with me, I decided let me do the proposal with the new people that I met in the course. So uh, I think I have a picture of them over here. So Faisal, Amin, and Ziad. So I decided let me see how good they are. Let me try making the proposal with them instead of the people that I already knew. I wanted to get out of my comfort zone. And in the beginning, we were doing really well, but later on we had this problem with one of the courses gave some extra work that threw everything off track. But what I want to emphasize is that uh, no matter what it is, if it's a proposal or some other project, your team is critical for the success. So if you have a good idea but you have a bad team, it's impossible for that idea to go anywhere. Be it a business, be it a project, be it an app, whatever. So the first thing that you should do is try getting a good team. And you could do that by talking to the WhatsApp groups, looking at Twitter, and don't limit yourself to only the people that are inside your year. You're their second term for FCIT 20. You could talk to the upper year students. You could talk to me as well if you just message me. And most people they're very open if you just ask them. So don't be worried to just talk to someone. They're probably gonna be happy to talk to you. Now, of course, if you have one person doing something, then the result is going to be related or proportional to how much skill that person has or how much effort he put in. However, if you have, for example, 9 pregnant women, they can't make a baby in 1 month, you know? So the same thing with teamwork. So if you try applying that, if you don't work together, it's not going to be effective. So you want to be working together to make sure that you have some effective uh, to get an effective result. And a good example of that is the cloud service providers. Now, if you didn't know, 30% of the internet is powered by only one cloud provider, AWS. Now, Amazon Web Services. Now, they wouldn't be able to do that if they only had one gigantic server that was handling all the traffic and trying to process all that stuff. So one person, you could think of it as one person, they can't handle all this stuff alone. So instead, what they did is that they broke it up into many different small servers. They probably seem insignificant, but there are millions of them. And when they work together, that's when it becomes that's when something amazing happens. And that's how we won we nearly won that competition over here. It's because of our amazing teamwork. As I said, me and Khalid, we've been practicing and uh, growing our teamwork skills for pretty much half a year. So of course we were able to work together pretty well. And me and Anwar joined us, and he did a few problems, so he got used to how we were working together. Now, even though myself, I'm not that good at computer science. Khalid, he's probably not good at computer science, but Anwar, he's a fourth year computer science student, so he could identify the stuff that we need to do, and he could show us. He could tell us what to do, and we could implement it. So even though we weren't that amazing in the competition ourselves as a whole, we were able to do something extraordinary. Okay, now I've talked to also uh, Bender and Amar's team, someone from CPIT221 joined them as well. Ahmed Said, I hope you're watching. And I've heard that most of you are having a problem of coming up with an idea for the proposal. Now, Dr. Rad, is the proposal the same as our proposal, or will it be on a different topic?
It's almost the same, but for the
Mm,
foundation year, to avoid
I see.
copying the same proposals for the previous semester. Maybe they can
Okay, so
identify weaknesses in a
mm,
course or an issue with any course in the foundation year
I see.
or the system in the foundation year and come up with their own proposal. Just go ahead, Ryan.
Mhm. Okay, so how we decided, so I've done lots of courses on programming and computer science. So naturally, I decided let me do my proposal on CPIT to CPCS 202. So uh, I'll explain our proposal. Maybe it'll be kind of different, but the point was choose some course that you wanted to improve that you're currently taking, and suggest some improvements. So as I said, I've done lots of courses on computer science and programming. So naturally, it was pretty obvious that I would do my proposal on CPCS 202. So after that, I decided that let me talk to my team, and in the beginning we had lots of ideas. So we had so many ideas, okay, that we weren't able to fit them anywhere. So what we did is, okay, so we made a WhatsApp group, and we tried discussing what should we do our proposal on. So that was the first thing that we did. Then we started talking about the contents. So we actually wanted some people wanted to do it on CPIT 201, and I decided let me do it on CPCS 202. Then we the person that was mentioning CPIT 201, they listed all their ideas, and I listed all my ideas, and then we decided which one would be best, and we chose CPCS 202. And of course, you can't fit all those ideas inside WhatsApp group because it's very hard to look through all those stuff. So through my experience with open source projects, I figured out that you could. Okay, so um, through my experience through open source projects, I found out that a good way of organizing all your information is through Trello. So over here, I put down a bunch of ideas that we wanted to talk about, and of course, in the beginning, it was just one big idea. Then I split it onto multiple pieces, and we put it over here. So it's extremely organized. If you wanted to if you wanted to quickly look over all the ideas, you could just quickly look through them, and you have a good idea on what all those ideas were. But in the beginning, it was like 2 pages of ideas, so there's no way you could look through that easily. So uh, what you should do is that you should make your ideas and resources as easily accessible as possible, because if they aren't, you wouldn't be able to use them. So not only do we organize our ideas here, but we also organize our like all any resource that's useful for our proposal. So we had the syllabus itself, we had the ABIT accreditation, we looked at it, and we tried getting inspired by those, and we even had like the CPCS 221 slides and the the samples, so we would have a good idea on what to base our proposal on. Now over here, where is it? So what I would recommend is that you just try putting all those parts together. So the cover page, make a cover page, and then put the beginning, and then put the table of contents, and then try filling them out. So because that would be way easier than just trying to uh, than just writing it all down and then trying to organize everything together. That's what the Trello board is for. So put down all the ideas and on something like this, like the Trello board, and then make a document. Put all the parts together, all the sections together, and then try putting the relevant ideas on those sections. Now, Dr. Raed made it extremely easy. The rubric just covered everything. Let me see if I could open it here. So this is going to be the rubric. So Dr. Raed made it extremely simple. Uh, just make a cover page, make all these stuff, and put those details, and that would give you the structure of the proposal. And to be honest, the structure was pretty well done, so we didn't have any problems with that. But you should be careful because you're going to be graded on this rubric. So what I did is that I chose the I decided to scrape. Dr. I just sent us the grade data afterwards, so I thought, let me just try processing all that data and then try displaying it here. So as you could see, lots of people they forgot to do the format of the proposal, the references, a summary of what should be done, and even I skipped one or two parts. So when you're done, just look through the rubric and make sure that you've implemented all these points. Okay. So in the beginning, we organized all those ideas, and so that's like the thinking phase. After that, we wanted to see all the students' opinions on our ideas. So what we did is that we created a survey over here. Yeah. So we created a survey, and we wanted to gauge the students' opinions on our ideas. So to be honest, we made it a bit early. The first day that we just came together and we got all the ideas. Then the second day we made the uh, we made the survey, but to be honest, it's a little too early. You need to flesh out those ideas first, because later on we wanted to ask some more questions, but we already did it. And uh, in Tahdiri, I had the opportunity to help one of the professors make a Google uh, Google survey. I think you could just Google it, and you would be able to find out how to make a survey with Google Docs. But it's pretty simple. Um, and so what we did is that we thought about all those ideas that we could ask. Maybe they would be a little controversial. So I suggested, let's make some automated tests for the course, because lots of the courses that I've done actually covered automated tests. So I wanted to see, are they actually interested in that? And it turns out that most of them that know what an automated test is, or they understood what it meant, has said yes. So these graphs, they were pretty useful. And I've and so we made the survey, and then I wrote some when the survey was done, I wrote some code to read all those messages. I think I have it over here. But when I actually wrote the code, I felt everyone was working on the actual survey, on the proposal, and I just felt extremely useless because I was working on the code and it wasn't really working in the beginning. So as I said, I think I mentioned it earlier, but every week I try learning something new, or I try taking a new course. So one of those weeks I decided, let me learn pandas and that stuff. So I wrote some code to process the raw data. I think it's over here, data.csv. So I got the data from Google Docs, and then I just made it into a CSV. And then I cleaned up the data. There was some data that wasn't that clean. So then I cleaned up, I enumerated it so it's consistent. And then I made some graphs. Now the graphs were extremely hard, and I took quite a while doing it. But in the end, it turned up pretty well. Over here, as you can see, there's a bunch of charts that you could see. And I think that had a good effect in the proposal, because if you, instead of looking through all those words, you could just look at the graph and immediately know, in, at least in a general way, how the students have, what are the opinions of those students. So even though it took a while and I felt in the beginning that I wasn't really being useful doing these charts, and then it paid off. Okay, let's see. So after making the survey, we started implementing the the actual proposal itself. So in the beginning, we wanted to focus the most on the introduction and the cover page, because the first thing that they're going to see is the cover page and the introduction. So we wanted to make it as good as possible. Um, and we use Microsoft the Word templates. I let me open them. So there are a bunch of templates that you could, or a bunch of fonts. Let me see the styles. So we use these styles to make everything consistent. If you could look over here, all the headers and stuff, they're all consistent. And it's important to be consistent, because you're trying to, if you want to make a change, then you want it to look professional and stuff. So we tried our best doing that. Later on, I decided this isn't that nice. I should have removed that, but most of those stuff you're only going to see it after the fact. So so half the team, they were working on the introduction and the the first part, the executive summary, while the other team was working on the actual body of the things, and I think Khalid was working on the actual references and stuff. Now, for personally, I would have wanted more references, but as I mentioned before, half my team just got busy, so we needed to me and Khalid, we needed to work on it on our own in the end. Uh, However, I think that I should have added more references, because if you wanted to introduce change, if someone was making a proposal to me, then I would want to have some science backing up the things that the proposal has said. So that's, and as I said, most of the proposal is just coming up with ideas. And if you have a good team, you're naturally going to come up with some good ideas and do well. Also, I would recommend trying to get together and be able to speak together verbally, and be able to share your screen. I use Discord for that, and we shared our screen. We were able to uh, in live time, we were able to see what the other person was doing, and that was really effective for our proposal. Now, for the presentation, we used a template from online. In the beginning, we researched a bunch of stuff, and one of those stuff was the presentation templates. So we found this website that gave us a bunch of nice templates, and we just adjusted those templates to what we wanted. And I think and some final touch, I added the FCIT logo in the background, and that just gave it like the final touch. Um, and let's see. So I think that's pretty much it to how we did our proposal. Let me see. I wrote some notes to cover. Oh yeah, also in the actual video itself, we used Zoom. Uh, Now, my mic quality wasn't that good, so I bought these earphones. Face actually made make me buy video uh, on his earphones, so I bought one like that, and it's pretty good. But make sure that you have good audio quality. Mine wasn't that good, and we did our proposal on Zoom, the presentation at least. But Dr. Raed, I felt like the presentation was too short. The time was too short to be able to cover all the ideas that we had in the proposal itself. But maybe it's good, because you need to slim down all those ideas to fit in 15 minutes. But for me, I wanted to cover more stuff, but we didn't really have the time, so I skimped out on some details. Oh yeah, Faisal is the one that introduced it.
mashallah. We have Faisal here. Welcome, Faisal.
Khalid too.
And Khalid, welcome. I saw also Mu'tasam. Mu'tasam is here. Mashallah.
Mm.
Welcome, guys.
So do any of you want me to cover some more specific topics, or do you have any questions?
Any question, guys? Feel free, please, to grab your mic and ask a question, or just use the chatting box here. Ryan, you said
Yeah.
one statement that attracted my attention. You said
Hmm.
surround yourself with motivated
Yeah.
people. How
Yeah.
how do you discover motivated people?
So initially on Twitter, uh, I post lots of programming content, and that naturally attracts like lots of people who are interested in learning more about programming and stuff. And actually, Ziad, the person that one of the people inside the let me open the website. So our proposal, and then in the end we have a picture of all the people. So actually, when remember the first thing that I did for the course, the it's called the scraping the blog text. So Ziad, he was really interested in become like in learning how to program. So he messaged me on WhatsApp. So I didn't really find him. He found me. Okay, and then I advised him. I told him you should try doing CSFD. You could try doing that. And Faisal and Amin, they were the admins for some stat group. They were helping out a lot. So I decided let me talk to them, see if they're interested in joining in becoming friends and stuff. So I decided let me speak to them, and we did the proposal together. So uh, like I see that some people they go out of their way to do something good. So naturally I speak to them, and through Twitter, lots of people they message me. So I find people that way. I found let me see, Sultan, and yeah, lots of people they message me on Twitter, and that's how I meet them. Um, here, uh, there's actually a group of IT students that are really passionate about IT, so I decided let me speak to them, and I found Ma'an and his friend Muhammad Zahrani, and they're really good at IT and stuff. So even though I'm a computer science, like I want to enter computer science, don't limit yourself to only the people that are entering your major, because it's all part of a puzzle, you know. So the computer science people they might be good at implementing some complicated algorithm or something, but IT people they form the foundation for a project. And IS they actually the person that entered IS, there's actually an IS student uh, in our group, Abdurrahman. He actually entered IS. He decided to enter IS, and he actually thinks that it's a pretty good it's a pretty good major, and he's learning lots about business, and he's saying that the business courses are pretty good quality. And I met him. I met Abdurrahman through the through the values tweet thing that we did. Yeah, I also messaged a few people from the CPIT221 value.
So I can understand from your message, Ryan, that CS are arrogant people, sad face, and IT guys are
No, I'm
funny
an
and
IT student.
professional, attractive, huh?
I'm a CS student. I'm a CS student. So,
So
uh,
we can attract more
so I'm a
people
little
to
biased.
IT.
I'm a little biased towards computer science.
No, that's great. Any major is great. It depends on
Yeah, but
how you
we
perform.
need to work
True,
together to do. Yeah.
true, true. You said something, Ryan. You said something very important about get
Mm.
out of your comfort zone and know more people. Know more people.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to message anyone on Twitter or WhatsApp. Uh, if you see someone that has some skills that interest you, just message them. I'm sure that they would be happy to talk to you. So hmm. So
Ryan,
yeah, yeah.
Ryan, what makes you and your team perform at a professional level and targeting the dean? What's the
Mm.
grade, the main
So
ingredient practicing to write your proposal, or you are thinking for something else?
No, because I like if I just sent it to the person managing the course, like they probably wouldn't really like there wouldn't really be change. But if I send it to the dean and he really likes it, then I think that's how there would be real change, you know. So in the end, I met Dr. Wasim, and he actually helped. He actually gave us some lessons for the competitive programming competition. So it was pretty fun. But I probably would just sent it to the like knowing what I know now, I would have sent it to the actual administrator for the course instead of the dean. But hopefully they like if they liked it that much, then they would forward it to someone that is in power. They would be able to actually implement that change because what we suggested, it's uh, like as I said, I've done lots of programming courses and stuff, but I feel like if the things I suggested, it would be much bigger than just the course. You would need to redo lots of the objectives and stuff. So I feel like sending it to the uh, sending it to the administrator for the course alone, that wouldn't be really enough. They wanted other, hopefully most like more professors seeing it, so they would be motivated into teaching better and stuff. And I've entered with Abdul Mohsen, and he teaches extreme, like he's just like you. He has some passion to do his best in teaching. He always goes to great efforts to try giving like some practical examples for while teaching. So I really like that.
That's great. That's great. Here we have a question from Muhammad Khalid. He said there are a lot of
Modernizing
things to write.
CPCS to
Yes, why you choose that specific?
So actually, I know lots of people from other universities. So I know some student from University of New South Wales, and comparing their courses to ours, or just looking at Harvard CS50, or I have also done some Java course from University of Helsinki, Java programming, and I would recommend this course for CPA CS 202 and 203. But comparing like other universities' courses to our university courses, uh, it's obvious that it's outdated. So how would you and for programming, you shouldn't just wait until, or for any skill that you want to learn, you shouldn't just wait until the university teaches you. You should go out. You should try going out and learning it on your own if you can. And like for me, before I entered FCIT, I was extremely creative. I've done like lots of projects and stuff. But when I entered FCIT, I felt like I've been more like this the floor is higher, so you're not going to be doing less than you need to, but I feel like there's a ceiling. You can't really uh, do do your best, you know. Like for example, if you have some more experience in a course, or you're good at some course, then you can't really uh, be able to yeah, yeah. uh, so I feel like you couldn't be able to express that that knowledge. And I've actually made this, so you could like record the attendance. I think if you, oh no, it doesn't work. Anyways, like
Ryan,
I do a bunch of projects and stuff to
Ryan,
be able to.
here's Nasser. Here, he's asking here,
Hmm,
how did you manage as a
yeah.
group, yeah, to divide the tasks among the group members?
So
By the way, were you the leader
yeah, I
for
was
that
leader.
group?
Yeah.
Good. How did you manage to divide the tasks?
Mostly, I felt like I could trust most of my teammates because, as I said in the beginning, if you have good teammates, then that's the most important part. So I knew that all my teammates, they were good. They would be able to handle themselves. But of course, there needs to be a bit more. Uh, uh, I needed to be a bit more targeted and specific. But mostly, if you already know the person, you know their strengths and weaknesses, so you could know that maybe this guy, he's good at getting some information. Khalid, he was extremely good at finding information, and we actually found we found lots of stuff like the all the computers, all the professors' emails and stuff, and we found like the dean actually has a website and he has a YouTube channel, and we watched some of his videos and read some of his content to be able to understand him better, and yeah, so I knew like I let in the beginning I let everyone try settling for what they were interested in the most, because if you try making forcing someone to do something they don't like, of course they're not gonna do their best. So in the beginning I just let everyone try doing what they're best at, and Khalid, he ended up looking like getting a bunch of information. Faisal, he ended up I think doing the introduction with someone else. So and after that I tried pushing them to do some certain task. But as I said in the end, uh, just surprised there was some there was some task from another course, and they need to write 40 page, like two 40 page, two 20 page documents for CPIT 201. So they didn't have time, really enough time for the proposal. So me and Khalid, we need to do the rest alone. So you probably want to start early. If you didn't have that task already for CPI 201 to make a report on operating systems and networks, you probably want to start early, or else you're going to get swamped on the work. CPIT, help your proposal. Yeah, we we went through. So my philosophy is that we wanted to improve the students' programming skills, because um, I know some people, they graduated without really knowing programming, and that's really that's not really, well, some people, they're not really gonna enter FCT for programming alone, but at least at some basic level, I thought that some good programming skills was important, especially for if you wanted to enter software engineering or that sort of thing. You should be pretty good at programming. So I wanted to make sure that everyone would be at least some be able to write some code that actually they would be confident works. So if you look through the proposal,
Just Muhammad is saying here that I hope your proposal should be considered. Yes,
yeah,
Muhammad,
that,
I'm confirming that there is a discussion going on that proposal, and the dean is referred that proposal to the chairman of the CS, and the CS also discussing with the coordinators and so on. And as you saw in that proposal, I already shared that proposal with them, and I discussed it last class, Rayan. As you can see, there is a short-term solutions and there is a longer-term
yeah,
solutions. They
exactly.
indicated in there.
So the short term solutions, they're more like patching the course, and the long term solutions is overhauling the course. Now, of course, trying to change the course completely, that's going to be impossible, and I knew that from the beginning. But maybe on the long term, uh, small changes over a long time, that could happen. So in the beginning, short-term solutions. So some stuff that could easily be done and implemented. So I listed those, and long-term improvements. There's stuff that needs more research and more thinking about, and I don't think that I've really covered even the basics of those stuff in this proposal. But if anyone wants, any professor or anyone wants to talk to me about this, I'm sure that I would be able to emphasize anything that isn't clear. Um, and yeah, so the long-term improvements, they would bring it, ideally, they would bring it up to the standards of other courses, such as this course from University of Helsinki, which is extremely good for teaching Java alone. But as I said, computer science alone, the best course is going to be Harvard CS50. And this is how I started learning programming, through Harvard CS50. And I want to see like more people, more students becoming better at programming, because then I have more people to work with and exchange our knowledge, and that would be better for everyone. So of course I'm motivated to see everyone succeed, and become the best that they can. After finishing your divided task as a team, do you go through other? So as I said, we work together through Discord. So of course, everyone had to say while we're in real time as we're doing something. So for example, on the slides, I think Amin was doing the slides in the beginning, and I said it needs more graphics. Okay, so we added the what's called the charts, and yeah, so it's a continuous process. So someone does something, and then in real time you could see uh, maybe you could add this, you could add this, and everyone's opinions are being heard. So that's why I specified you should use Discord to get together and speak, because if you're all separate, then you can't. Uh, then it'll there's going to be more time for you to um, in between suggesting improvements. So when you're closer together and you're actually doing it in real time, it's much easier to suggest improvements in the early stages of the project. Now, also, what I've noticed is that the proposal, it also prepares you not only for the proposal itself, but also for projects in general. So there's a teamwork. There's some teamwork elements going on, and of course the teamwork elements, as I said, it's extremely important for later on if you wanted to do something like a competition. So me and Khalid, we begun our teamwork and stuff through the proposal, and now we started doing projects together and stuff. uh, but as I said before, the, those skills that you need for the proposal, it's not only limited for that task alone, but as a wider uh, it's useful for a wider range of topics such as business and making an app or making a project in general. So it covers extremely useful skills.
Ryan, you know what? Can you
Mhm.
please stop sharing the screen so I can see
Okay.
your video and you can
Okay.
see my video? Now, I thought if you back again to CPIT221, I'll give you 0 in the visual design of the video, but I discover myself, even the light is in my back. The light is in your back, that is in the visual design. Then I tried
I
to
needed
cover it,
to
that is why
move.
it's dark.
I
Me too,
I
as
need to
you
move
can see.
suddenly.
There
Yeah.
is a light in my back. That was so great, Ryan, for being here because the time is running out. There is one final question. Please read Faisal
Mm.
Zahrani question. Maybe he's commenting here or questioning.
No,
And let's
he's
conclude with that. Yes, he's commenting and providing. Okay, good. That's great. That's great, Faisal. The other students here, please feel free to contact Ryan. He's an open guy. Follow him on Twitter. Any question you want to ask, you want to cooperate with him, you want to offer him is also as a proposal, please go and discover him further on his
I would be
Twitter
happy to
account.
talk to anyone.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ryan, for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Ed.
So my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Anytime you want me to come and share my knowledge, I would be happy to come.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you. Salam alaikum. Thank you. Salam alaikum. Thank you very much, guys. See you, inshallah, next class. Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you all for coming.
Salam. Later, I'll share with you the video, inshallah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
Salam.
you.
Salam.